And earlier this week, it was Denny Hamlin's team who won the Sprint Pit Crew Challenge, so they get their first pick of pit stalls tonight.
We'll see if that's a big advantage or not, because Denny's running back in the 15th spot. He needs to make some progress here. Maybe they can help him in the pits.
Teams must take on 4 tires after completing 25 laps. Next time by, pit road will be open. We say it's all about the driver, but now it's all about the pit crews for this lap.
Well, the driver that's on the move is that cat, Matt Kenseth. He's driven into the top 10 around Jeff Gordon there, so he's made good progress through the first half of this race.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to make a mistake, Dick Berggren.
Carl Edwards running in the second position, has an excellent car on throttle coming off the corner. That's where you really want it to stick. Matt.
Kyle Busch said around lap 19 the car flipped the switch and it went to the tight side. He waved off a track bar adjustment, just air pressure, Steve.
Matt Casey Kane said his car had gotten tight in the center, but as the laps went down, he said he was starting to get loose, getting in and off. So they're going to make a chassis adjustment on the number 4 Toyota 4 Casey Kane.
Biffle leads them off pit road with Edwards. We are under green. And you see positions gained or lost, everyone coming out pretty much in the order in which they went in. Now, Brad Keselowski did not stop. He has no brakes, so he'll come in after pit road is clear.
Tough night for the 22 team. He was running last with his teammate with no brakes, and now he has a bad pit stop. So
the defending champion of the All-Star race not having a good night. And here's Keselowski, who's probably going to just shut it off and creep it in.
Yeah, good call, though, to wait till everybody got off pit road. That was a good call on his part. So who's the big winner and who's the big loser on the pit stops, guys?
Well, up front, it's about even. Greg Biffle had a half-second lead over Carl Edwards, and that lead is again half a second as they go back to green.
We talked about that long pit stop of the Kurt Busch's car, Mike. Now that's going to get worse. He has a pass-through penalty. He had a guy over the wall too fast, and you saw there, that's how close Kurt is to getting lapped. Biffle and those guys have him in sight. So first, the Penske car has a brake problem. He's out of the contention for tonight, and it looks like the same fate might strike the 22. You get a lap down here, you can get a free pass and have a shot, but those cars just aren't running well tonight. And a year ago, they were the story.
Class of the field.
Yep. So here's the pass-through penalty at pit road speed. That will take Kurt Busch off the lead lap.
But I wouldn't count him out because he can get the free pass.
Now, before the pit stop, Kyle Busch had a wrapper, piece of plastic, something there on the grill.
I got that.
Yep. Clean and good to go. Steve.
Well, Mike, just an update from Kurt Busch. He is not happy, and he's not happy about his race car, saying the car is horrible. When they stopped, Mike, they went down 3 rounds in the right rear, and that's a big, big adjustment.
And that would be different from what? I mean, it's pretty much been that way every race. I mean, he just had a tough go with that car.
Well, one of the big winners on that stop was Kyle Busch. He picked up 0.8 of a second on Greg Biffle from where they were running prior to pit stops. Casey Kane picked up 0.6 of a second. Tony Stewart came out about even. Those are your top 5.
This team's getting their legs under them, aren't they, Dale?
I tell you what, I like this team. Kenny Francis and Casey, they're going to win a race really, really soon. They have just gotten better and better and better. Tough luck last week at Dover, had an engine problem, but one thing I've noticed tonight with all these cars, they look like they're making a lot extra horsepower tonight. Can't believe how fast they're going around this racetrack.
Well, you know, they might just do a little something here or there on those engines to see if they can't crank a little bit more out of them for this short 150-mile night.
196 miles an hour into turn 3. Biffle's fastest lap of the race, 28.58 seconds. That is hauling the mail. Speeds off into turn number 1.
Can they get to 200? Saw 198.
198 on Carl, 197 on Biffle. Greg Biffle has led more tonight than in all 7 of his previous All-Star appearances combined.
Well, when you think about somebody that would, this format would fit very well, Greg Biffle's certainly one of those guys that comes to mind. You got to get it done. You got to be aggressive. Got to go hard.
"16 laps to halftime." Brad Keselowski comes on to pit road.
And this has worked out about like we thought it would, guys. These race car drivers are being a little bit conservative, didn't take any chances, didn't really push anyone around. They're concentrating on their cars, trying to understand what they need in order to go forward.
Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Greg Biffle, fastest lap of the race to no surprise, 189 miles an hour. For more NASCAR stats and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile, sprint.com/speed.
I think most of these guys are looking down the track just a little bit at that $1 million prize. That's what they're thinking about.
Let's find out what's happening with Carl Edwards there in second place. Dick.
Well, Mike, as good as Carl Edwards is running right now, there is still more speed left in that car. He said the car has gotten a little bit loose on the gas coming off the corner, and the back end is a little bit squirmy. Well, if they can fix that, imagine how fast Carl Edwards 99 will go.
Well, he's knocked that margin from 1.1 seconds after the pit stops down to half a second. Ninth place, Matt Kenseth. Inside Jeff Gordon.
Looks like it. 10, nothing back here.
And they're closing quickly on Mark Martin, Jimmy Johnson, and Clint Boyer.
I think something we maybe want to look at and think about cars that are going to be better as the evening goes on. When we look at lap times, we look, got a battle here for
6th.
5 times all over the back of Clint Boyer here.
And 5 times just steadily been marching forward, Darrell. You talked about building momentum, gaining momentum. That's exactly what this car is doing. Jimmy's picked them off one at a time. He's raced from the 11th starting position all the way up to 6th.
And when I look at his lap times, he just ran a 29:41. Leader right now is at a 29:43, so he is matching lap times, and that's what these crew chiefs will be looking at. If we had track position, do we have the speed?
Fastest car right now, Matt Kenseth, 29:32. And here's Kenseth underneath Mark Martin.
That's sort of been another car that just steadily, slowly driving his way to the front. And why that's important is because they're getting ready to have a break here and can grab 2 tires, make some sort of strategy call to gain the rest of that track position that they know they have good enough cars to keep.
Yeah, well, if you're just looking for track position, we can give that to you. If you're looking for speed on the racetrack, now we got to think about that.
And those cars have that speed. So now the crew chief can say, I get you that track position. I think you're fast enough to keep it.
40 down, 60 laps to go. 10 in this first segment. Well, apparently that piece of plastic from Busch's car has found its way to Boyer.
It's the same piece of paper. You don't reckon that Kyle loaned it to him, do you?
Let's hope not.
Check out Keselowski. We talked about the Penske car's not running good. He gets his brakes fixed and he's trying to pass the leader. What the heck? He does pass the leader.
Time to show our Facebook friends the bonus code for 10 additional entries for the $10,000 prize. Go to facebook.com/speed. Click the like button at the top of the page. If you've already registered and you're a friend of Speed, click on Win $10,000 on the left side bar and enter All-Star 2011 in the code box. That's All-Star 2011, no spaces, no hyphens. Good luck. Jeff Gordon taking 9th away from Mark Martin. 8 laps to halfway.
Man, if you haven't ever been to one of these races, you won't believe what these cars sound like when they go by. I mean, I know they make almost 900 horsepower, but darn don't it sound good.
That's what I stand up here every week, and I tell Larry, I said, these things are turning 10,000 RPM, and they're screaming out of the frame, man.
Listen to that sound.
Man, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Notice this thing grunt up the back straightaway. Just picking up speed all the way down to a 200-mile-an-hour. Now, watch this. Michael, you haven't had a chance to see this. This is our little steering wheel deal. This is Kyle Busch coming off turn 4 there. Got a lot of steering wheel into it, coming down through the front straightaway here. Hit it off into turn 1. Now watch him crank this thing down in there. Nice and smooth.
Now
Doesn't move it much at all.
I'm thinking you want to see that steering wheel just slightly to the left and not doing a whole lot.
Yeah, it's perfect the way he's holding it right now. He's not having to fight that wheel at all.
He'll fight it later.
Oh, somebody gets up under him, he'll be fighting it.
Greg Biffle remains your leader. 5 laps to halftime. Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, Casey Kane, Tony Stewart. And how about our fan favorite? Here's Dick.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is having a real tough time tonight, Mike. Started in the back. That is where he is running. The car is just plowing through the corners. Earnhardt not handling, running in the back.
And look how much input he's having to put into his steering wheel. I mean, he's got his hands. That right hand is all the way down in his lap. He's got that thing turned so far. Look at that, how far he's having to go.
And what I didn't like about that, Darrell, it looked like when he got to the corner, he cranked it right a little bit and then had to turn left. That's when you got 2 problems. It's loose in and tight in the center, and man, that's hard to fix.
Denny Hamlin, Jamie McMurray have been battling for the last 2 laps. This is at 13th place. Hamlin takes the spot.
Just got to wonder what's going on with Hamlin. I mean, I would expect him to be a real factor in this race tonight. He was last year. He and Kyle had a big run in here last year. Thought Hamlin would charge his way right to the front. Hadn't done it yet.
Joe Gibbs Racing running 3rd and 14th.
Yeah, and Kyle Busch said, you better keep me away from Denny Hamlin. And then he said other things.
Well, maybe Denny Hamlin remembers that.
How about Regan Smith? He and Kevin Harvick going at it for 17th.
I just thought it was so cool. Regan Smith wins the Southern 500. He's going down the back straightaway on the cool down lap. And what's the first thing he says? Hey, boys, we're in the All-Star race.
You bet. 2 laps to halfway, and the caution flag will wave.
Darrell, I mean, you want to be an all-star, right? Whatever sport you're in, you want to be one of the all-stars. And Regan now is. Won one of the biggest races of the year.
That's it.
Nobody saw that coming, and I don't think anybody saw that young man from Knoxville, Tennessee, pulling into victory lane in the Daytona 500 either. That's why this race season has been so entertaining, so many storylines.
Yep, Trevor, we wish you were here tonight, buddy.
1 lap to halftime. For the 3rd straight year, the first segment of the All-Star race has run caution-free. And Greg Biffle is going to bring it home here. Kyle Busch led 4 laps. Biffle's led 45, make it 46 as he comes by. And as the field cycles through.
Still clear by 6.
What do you do there, Darrell?
I think he lost focus there for a second or something. I'm not really sure what he did.
That thing.
Caution.
Yeah, now the caution waves.
I think he was thinking about the caution coming out.
The drivers were informed the field would cycle through under green before the caution flag waves. It would not wave over the lead car at lap 50. That caution flag is good news for Kurt Busch. He'll get the free pass and be back on the lead lap when we resume. So Greg Biffle pockets $25,000 for leading at the end of segment 1.